Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spirit Switchboard. I'm your host, Kerrilynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM out of New Orleans. And I don't know what's up if I'm just, the ADHD is kicking in. I keep saying UPRN and the UFO. I miss one. I keep missing one. United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. Got them both. I'll remember. I'll get there. Hello, Henry. Hi, Heidi. Thanks for being here. You know what? There's so much. We're going to put so much. There's so much to talk about today. We're just going to bring everybody out. I've got Richie B and Wojo from Bigfoot Banter with Richie B. And we're just going to bring them out. Hello.
Hello, boom.
She's released us.
Yeah. I had to early because there's so much to talk about.
Oh my goodness.
I know, I have been so excited about this. I have loved everything Bigfoot from the time I was little. You name it, I've got it. My keychain has been a Bigfoot forever. I had this air freshener hanging in my, I don't know, I kept moving it from car to car, but it was in the shape of a Sasquatch, and so everywhere I went, I'd hold it up and take a picture, so it looked like it was walking on the the sidewalk or the boulders. I'm so excited about tonight. Excited.
Why do you suppose that is? I mean, was it your geographical location? I mean, I know it's your show. Sorry, people come on my show and they're like, Richie, let me ask you a question. I'm like, this is my show. but to hear that from people, I get so interested and so excited. I'm like, why? How old were you, and why did you think like that?
Because I grew up in the middle of nowhere, northern Ontario, here in Canada, and just it's that section of Lake Superior, northern Ontario. That whole northern shore is crazy with everything: UFO, cryptids. It's got it all. It's powerful and magical up there, and my dad believed in all of this stuff. My grandfather he was a bush guy. He was outside, outdoorsy, always had kinds of, weird stories. And he was a German farmer, welder, pipe fitter, stoic dude, farmer, and for him to have those stories, there's got to be something to it, right? So
yeah. So it sounds like it's prevalent in your area. That's cool.
Yeah, there's sightings. My dad talks about it all the time. So I'm always asking, can you take me out? And he's like, do you want to die from an angry Sasquatch? And I'm like, as long as someone's got a camera.
Yes, I do.
I do. It would be an epic death, right?
Epic death.
As long as you get my good side.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that I just said I don't think that it would be an angry. I just don't think that I would have that experience.
I don't think so either.
No.
And I can tell you why too. But I want to say hi to everybody on the side because for some reason I'm having trouble posting a comment and I can't go to my destination. And I'm sure it's a StreamYard thing. Sorry, StreamYard. But I've been having some of that issues lately. So hello everybody on the side. How are you?
Yes.
I see some of our friends out there.
James is in the room. Wiz is in the room.
Hello, Heidi.
Heidi.
Yes. Shane and Tammy Johnings. Oh, that's cool.
Johnings.
Pleasure. Thank you. Michelle Plummer.
Michelle Plummer.
Did you hear Wojo? Wojo goes, good evening. What is that?
Good evening. Some kind of welcome to the hour.
That's right, Jim. We're going to get down and crazy.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us over here tonight.
Sam rocks. Sam is amazing. Like and subscribe to her. Have you ever seen her stuff? She's an amazing creator, by the way. She just got 2 trophies in the mail sent to her because she's that good. Hello.
Awesome. So is it Sam's Pretty Paranormal? That's where they'll find her on YouTube?
It is Sam's Pretty Paranormal.
It is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
She's a
gift. Do yourself a favor. And there's my sister, Mary Newbert, right there. Love you, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Always, Sam. Oh, look at the wave. What's going on today? Are you a game show host or something?
I said hello and I just waved.
I know you, but you were like will be like,
I'm sorry.
Watching on YouTube, Heidi.
I was supposed to go, hey, hi, Heidi.
Sam, I think we should promote everybody. Thank you very much for subscribing.
Always, we all should promote each other. That's how we do it at the Banter Richie B show and love each other.
Oh my gosh, hi Lynn. Lynn is watching from Prince Edward Island.
Hi, Lynn.
From where?
Prince Edward Island.
Oh, Prince Edward Island, you say? Yes, I have an
Hello,
uncle who lived
Hi,
on
Julie.
Prince Edward Island.
You guys, the people that come in and hang out on the chat always make the shows, right? And that was something the very first time that I watched, I popped in on the podcast on your podcast, Richie. Wojo, I forget, it was like halfway through or something, and you popped in on the chat and everybody freaked out, like Wojo's here. Wojo, fan favorite for sure, right?
Well, thanks for pointing that out. And yes, I feel I was Richie's big fan, obviously, and then I came out with Richie on some investigations, and then I moved up to co-host, so I feel privileged.
Yes.
And you bring a lot to the table, and the way that you guys can work off each other is brilliant. Like it's really exciting to watch. There's this.
Thank you.
Oh, what is this? I'll remember it later. I'm having a moment.
Probably not, but anyways.
Clear the mind.
Or like 20 minutes after the show finishes airing. It's this fellow here in I believe he's in Quebec who like just goes in his backyard, but he gets UFO stuff all the time in his backyard, right?
Wow.
So he goes out and he brings people in to have the experience with him. And that's what I'm like. That's what I love about you guys is you want people to be a part of the journey with you and
100%.
and bringing people along. And that's brilliant. Like that's I think having different perspectives and people having different backgrounds, right? So their eye for what they notice is going to be different from what you guys may have. So,
Well, what's important, Kerrilynn, is that, like, with me and Richie, like we have similar styles here. That we just love people. We just love to network. We love to joke around. And obviously we love researching Bigfoot. But most important thing is that when you're connecting with your audience, they're just like your brothers and sisters out there, and you can't. We're just here to like meet newer people from all around the world, and it's quite an honor to meet a lot of these people. And people like Sam from Pretty Paranormal. I mean, she's like been on Richie's show like from like the very beginning. There's a handful that's been like there from the very beginning and still here.
Yep.
And that's fair.
It's huge, man. And when I first started this, because I'm like, we're here for the research. That's what we're here for. That's why we call it Boots on the Ground, Bigfoot Investigations. Like, we want it to be very organic, and anything else that follows along, I guess, right? But my whole vision was to bring it to everybody, and everybody bring it back to me. Because when I was going through my experiences in my backyard, it was just me.
Right.
I couldn't share with hardly anybody. I had children growing up at the location. I had all kinds of things I had to worry about, ridicule and all that, right? And I just kept it to myself. So when I had my coming out party, it was like, I believe in Bigfoot. People like Wojo had known me for years was like, wait, what? Like, people were like just flabbergasted. There's a word you don't hear much. That they were just flabbergasted that Richie believed in Sasquatch. I said, not only do I believe in him, I've been dealing with him for a decade. Like, people were like, what do you mean? And then I had to start showing. But then you start bringing it out. My vision was, I want to share this with everybody and anybody who will listen. And I only ask, be respectful and kind.
Yeah.
And we can have any debate you want.
Yeah.
Respectfully,
Yeah. Shadow Side Paranormal Research Society, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks for being here.
That is a member of Boots on the Ground Bigfoot Investigations, Mr. Rich Glidden out of New Hampshire. Thank you, our friend. We appreciate you. Make sure you like and subscribe to Kerrilynn's channel.
Wasn't he on? You guys did a round table talk one night, wasn't he on?
Very good.
Yeah.
That's very astute, Miss
With the like piano background. Was did he have like
she's turning into a top fan, Rich.
hang on. All right, hang on.
Yeah, there's his house.
Yeah, I'm at Rich's house now. See?
Yeah.
Hey, Rich.
It's so funny. That was my takeaway of that episode, that segment.
Yeah.
Hey, Rich, hey, Shadow Side, where's the refrigerator?
What are these lonely people drinking? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. You drink
mansion
muscle
out.
milk? What?
Yeah. Remember I said to him, yeah, I dare you. Go play the piano, Mr. Rich Guy. No. He don't know what's going on. Yeah, that was fun.
Exactly.
We have a lot. Well, that's the other thing is that, we're very serious about this subject and we're very passionate about it as well, right?
Yes.
But we love when the jokes come or something comes up that's funny, we just play it out. We're just here to have fun. So next thing you know, we're like, was that Bigfoot? And then we're like, oh yeah, I remember that. And it's just like, that's it. That's who we are.
So, but laughter helps with the fear factor too. Like when you get into an intense moment and there's fear, you end up laughing after, and it shifts that energy for you, so you can process whatever it was that just happened, right? Like,
is that before or after we saw that pan shit? When we got action in the woods, it's not cool. So, we try to have laughter. Yeah.
So recently we've had 2 incidences where we've been basically run up on. And about 50 to 60 feet from us or so, you could hear this huge, what we believe is Sasquatch running through the woods, like bang, like just like stiffens you right up. Right. And when that first happened, we just stopped and started listening afterwards. And what you're talking about came true, because there's actually a video with some evidence on it, and Wojo's talking about our softball careers, and we're sitting in the woods like 2 giddy teenage girls going, and then all of a sudden in the video you see Wojo's hand come up, because we both heard something off in the distance, and then you hear this long drawn out whistle through the woods.
Oh, unbelievable.
Love it.
Yeah.
And we were like,
well,
so now we got the nervous laughter, and then you needed more nervous laughter. We ran out of it.
we went from laughing to go, what was that? It's not in that way, but I'll tell you right now, we were like horrified.
Yeah.
Horrified? Like, okay.
Yeah, no, it can be.
Did you whistle back?
Oh, yeah, we whistle often. Yes, we do.
Yes,
we do a lot of whistling while in the woods. So for me, let me clarify horrified, because I like how you brought that up. I've been flanked 3 times on my property by myself on the game trail before all this green screen and this camera and all the people and friends. Before any of that ever occurred, it was me, and I've been flanked 3 times, and I was horrified, because I'm like, I'm dead. It's over. Because there was one here, one behind me. They like to do a triangle, right? So, but then I was like, I'm not dead. Why am I not dead? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand it. So when I talked to a friend of mine, this is very much in my infancy of doing this. Being flanked is seriously scary. Even the second and third time after my gift and stump. So I started my gift and stump. I felt that I bonded with them in a sense. And after that, I felt a little bit more at ease. The third time, I was completely at ease. I was still reluctant because there's a juvenile. And as we know, those damn teenagers can be very unpredictable. So that guy still makes me a little bit nervous, because I watch his shoe size grow over the years.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's kind of different. 50, 60 yards as you smell. What's funny is that Squatch man, right? I can't. Wait.
So James goes by the whiz. He lives in Washington.
Okay. Different.
Yeah. So he's just saying 50, 60 yards. Did you smell it first? Calls it weird. You will smell them before you hear them. So he's got that happening on his property too.
So I wasn't smelling things for years, and me and Wojo had this discussion out in the woods, and it was the strangest thing. One day I was just sitting there, and I said, "What the hell is that smell?" And this is after I was secret quiet. Maybe I didn't notice it because I was by myself and all my other sensories were up so high. But everybody said, no, you'll know what it smells like, blah, blah, blah. I had this really, really awful smell of urine. And it was just so bad. And the key to it was that it would come and go. So it wasn't just like a pungent right there on top of me. It was if it was moving with the wind in a sense, right? And that's when I started getting it. And then just one of these particular times where we were just talking about with you when it ran through the woods, I said to Wojo, there's that pee smell. I said, I smell it. It's really strong right here, bro. I said, no, it just moved. It's gone. And then all the way through the woods it ran. I jumped up. What the heck? I was ready. But yeah, so I have recently been a little more in tune with that part of the sensory when it comes to Sasquatch. Was it there before? I just never was like, I was always like, I don't smell anything. But you have to understand, too, I was more of a novice then than I am now. Not by no means an expert. I mean, what really is, right?
Well, no, and I don't think that we can be an expert. Like, we're always going to be learning something new. And I don't think that we get to know everything, right? Like, I always thought that Sasquatch, my grandpa, I know that I have shared this with you, privately, but my grandpa was the township trapper. So, like, in our township, if there was a nuisance animal, they would call my grandpa and he would go trap them, take care of things, right? And he had this little log cabin shanty on the property, and he would stretch and tan hides, and I would sit out there with him and he would talk. And he used to say that old hunters never die, or old trappers never die, they just smell like it. So I always in my head grew up thinking that like Sasquatch would smell like my grandpa.
Poor grandpa.
Smelled like the log cabin behind my grandparents. So it was like, that's how I envisioned it in my head, right?
That is funny. I love that. You said to me earlier, I died. They just smell like it.
Yeah. And so that's kind of what I thought. But, and, when I was thinking about, I didn't really do a lot of prep for the show because that was one of the things that you had said, right? Don't prep, just let it roll. My sister and I did a segment about cryptids that we would want in our backyard. Because, there's so many scary ones. What ones are not so scary? And so what kind of cryptid would you feel comfortable living with? And we both said that we would be okay with having the Sasquatch because there was such that curiosity to it. But I have always thought, when you start having those interactions, would they not be as equally curious about you? So, engaging and letting you know that, I want to have this experience with you too.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about that, Woj?
Well, yeah. I mean, first off, when I first would go to Richie's backyard for these encounters of these, I wanted to see what he was seeing. And then going out there, and right off the bat, it was that awful smell. And it just it was just coming and going, and again, it was just like very strange that it would occur like as we come in, during, and then at the very end, it's like seeing us out. I'm like, you think they're following us? Because no matter, like, there's no wind, you just can't explain it. I was a hunter for many years. I hunted all throughout New England, and I'm very well aware of how nature pretty much works, between trees falling, things like that. I mean, it smells, but his house is very special, and I'm so excited of just being part of this journey. And
I agree.
It's like I said, it's a ride. Yeah, James. One thing I could say about these creatures is that the minute we go into the woods, they're already watching us.
They know.
I'll tell you. You don't know how many times that me and Richie would say, "I feel like something's watching us."
I just feel it as soon as you go in. You can tell. You
can tell, and then the smell comes in, and then you hear small snaps. You're like, "Oh no!"
Here we go.
Here we go.
Do you think that personal experiences, media, TV shows, any of that could also influence or heighten that, like, time of day, even like when you're going into the bush, that feeling of, hey, I'm feeling watched? Or is it like electric. You know, if you walk into a room where somebody has just argued, that energy is hanging in the space. So you know there's something weird going on. Does it have that feel to it, or can it be influenced a little bit?
Who you asking, Richie? You go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, well, I'll take this one, Wojo, if that's okay with you. Is that good? Well, that's right, Jim. Wojo's going to let me be
back to you, Bob.
Thank you very much. Back to you, sir.
Sometimes, I don't know. Like, when I'm looking at the camera, I thought she was looking at me like going, I don't know. Go ahead.
I'll do this whole thing in radio voice. Settle down. So I think anything can influence intent, right? Isn't paranormal and psychic abilities? Everything kind of has intent, no matter what, right? You can go in with a certain intent, right? No matter what, right? I mean, if you look at the sky, it's blue, and you're like, wow, I'm so happy. Happy's an intent, right? So if it comes down, it's scary and raining, you're like a little wound up, that's intent, right? Yeah. It can affect your intent.
But could it, I guess it's not necessarily intent, more like subconsciously. You know, if you've watched something, so on a subconscious level, would you already be heightened or you know, thinking about those sorts of things?
Absolutely. I mean,
I think you could. I think it could, right? And I think that what we do is we know that, like, tomorrow morning, we know we're going out for an investigation, right? Yeah. We know that. That's what's on our mind. That's what we're doing. So for us, it becomes a mindset in itself because we're going out.
So, okay, Sam is sharing, I would love having Bigfoot in the backyard. Wish I could have one as a protector on my property. That would be cool.
That was the answer to the question that Wojo never answered. Did you notice that? So what cryptid would you want in your backyard, Mr. Wojo? Answer the question, sir. Answer.
I would have a Bigfoot, Rich.
Yep.
Bigfoot!
We'd all want a Bigfoot.
You don't want a puckwudgie. You want a puckwudgie in your backyard or a dog man?
We don't want a puckwudgie in the backyard.
No, we don't want none of that. We want Bigfoot. No. Bigfoot, I think Bigfoot is more of a, I don't know, he's been more docile with me.
What kind of sandwich are you eating? That's horrible.
Oh. All right, so the sandwich thing. Let me tell you about the sandwich thing, by the way, in case you missed that episode of Banter with Richie B, when I had my friend, Mr. Shallowside, on there with his $1 million house, and my other friend, Phil Anderson from Explorer with Phil. Make sure you like and subscribe, Phil with 2 L's, right? And we were there doing a show, and Mr. Shallowside gets up and leaves the building. And I said, well, where the hell did he go? No answer. It's just a blank square. So I drop him, right? 5 minutes later, in the audience, there's a message on there going, hey, I'll be right back. I'm making a sandwich.
Yeah, I thought he got stuck in a drive-thru at Wendy's.
He didn't private message me or text me. He just put it right in there. Goes, hey, I'll be right back. I'm just making a sandwich. I'm like, there goes the guest. The guest just left to go make a sandwich. So as I work.
On great, because I don't know if I channel my grandmother or what it is, but when we're doing investigations or going out, my thought is about what snacks I'm bringing. Like, I've got my snacks packed before I've got any equipment packed.
Listen, that's not a bad idea. We tell everybody, even on the shows, pack for survival.
Yes.
Like I only go out my backyard. The river's a mile from my house. It does not matter, man. You could break an ankle and be out there and be stuck. And if you don't have your granolas and your waters and you're not gear for survival, a radio, your phone properly charged, so all these things, you could get yourself in a survival situation like that. So always prepare for that. So that's a good list to have. I like some granolas and stuff. That's it. I don't want to bring a real sandwich because I don't want to attract anything because I make a killer sandwich. I'm just saying.
My oldest kid, well, he's like not a kid. He's a 31-year-old man.
He's a kid to you.
He's a kid to me. He used to say all the time when he was a teenager that he was going to have a sandwich shop when he got older, and he was going to call it Between Your Buns.
No.
He makes the best sandwiches because they're made with love. That's what he makes.
Oh my God.
He's a barber now, not a sandwich maker.
Woo! Thank God. That could have went wrong.
Peanut butter jelly.
Nothing. Oh, that's like good. That's
what's
core
this?
memory stuff.
Oh
Sam
man,
is
my
sharing.
first.
Go ahead.
Oh, may I? I may. Hello.
Yep.
Oh man, my first thought is packing like Rambo because I already visualize being mauled by a bear or a coyote tearing me apart. Even when I go running trails, I'm packing. Wait, are you talking packing or packing food?
Yeah.
Oh, both.
They can be both.
She's down south.
See,
So
we always had bears in our yard. Always, like growing up, bears on the school ground. Like you know, there was bears were just a thing. My grandpa would say when I was riding my bike from between the houses, just sing loud. So yeah, sing loud.
So
and
they knew where you.
They
So they. Oh, okay. So the bears knew where you were, not where they knew where you were, right? Because you'd be like, nah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and they could hear you because you're already singing, right?
Exactly.
Packing weapon. Okay, there you go. She's a Southern girl. That's why I was just checking. I know what's going on here. No joke. I got 8 skunks living under my pool house. Oh God.
Wow.
That's one cryptid I don't want.
Yeah, that's one party I wouldn't want to go to.
Yeah, they went to the right place, Stinky.
When people ask about spirit animal guides and all that kind of stuff, I'm always like, I choose skunk first, right off the hop. I mean, they're little, they demand and command respect. Everybody moves out of the way for them. Like,
wow, she's a Pepe Le Pew fan. Ooh,
yeah.
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew.
We so went sideways, and I knew this was going to happen.
Oh yeah, what happened? Where are we?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Oh, okay, you know what? You made a comment and about that you were already thinking about tomorrow, right? You guys are going out tomorrow, and you've already been thinking about it.
Oh yeah.
You know, for me, working as a medium, so I've always been able to connect to the other side from the time I was little, right? Like right from little on, this is how it's been for me. So full-time as a career for almost 18 years. So I know that collective consciousness of one. Do you feel like where you're going out, they know that you're already thinking about them? Or could they be tapping into you at the same time? Getting ready for you guys showing up?
I don't know.
Well, what did we have last week happen, Walter? Remember? You could say.
Well, okay. Well, the last time, excuse me, let's back it up. Well, me and Richie, there's a chair out in the middle of the woods, and we had a gifting chair. And
that's how he starts his sentence. There's a chair out in the middle of the woods.
The chair in the middle of the woods.
Explain the gifting stuff too. Like, there's some people that may not know anything about any of that, right? That are listening, and you know, like 80% of the people are going to be audio listeners later. So, explain
That's
the
true.
gifting thing.
Well, I think the gifting thing to me is like pretty much like a relationship deal with them, you know. So I went to this chair and I put like 4 sticks around it in a square, and I put Richie put down some dandelion flowers, and I just put a package of zingers. And zingers are like a Hostess cake that's raspberry with the with the filling. So I thought I'd give it a try to appease them or some sort, and
Right.
And well, me and Richie went out on last Sunday and went to check the stump, and they were missing, except for the wrapper was still on top of the chair. The branches were pushed off to the side. The piece of cardboard that, when you pull the cakes off, usually leaves remnants of like the frosting or the flour part of the cake part, excuse me. And it looked like it was just like licked. It was like perfectly clean. There was like droplets everywhere. The chair was like unbelievable. It was just like stained with saliva. And so I just thought, like, wow, I think they enjoyed it. Usually I guess they give back, but to Richie, why don't you talk about your gift at your house?
Yeah. So with this particular gift, when we walk up, we look for specific things. We watch for like crumbs. We watch for like the package to be chewed on, you know, little teeth marks. You look for all that stuff. You know what I mean? So when I walked up to this gifted chair, it was an old chair sitting in the woods, and Wojo came up with the brilliant idea, seeing how it's there, let's make that a gifted chair. So I thought it was great. So that's what we did. And when we approached this wrapper, the wrapper wasn't chewed. There wasn't claw marks. There wasn't little rodent marks. There was not a crumb anywhere in sight, not on the chair, not around the chair, nothing. The wrapper was opened. The wrapper was not crazy. The wrapper was not chewed open. The wrapper was opened.
Yeah.
Okay? And it was so spitty inside the wrapper. You know, when you get condensation, you get a little bit of a fog with small droplets. This was not that. There was no fog. And there was droplets like the size of my pinky nail in it. Okay? So when we started looking around for the cardboard, we found the cardboard behind the chair, licked clean, spotless, to the point where you can see a drag mark from a tooth. Not a drag mark from a rodent's tooth. It was a square tooth. So immediately we go into save the evidence type mode.
Yeah.
We have bottles. We don't ever use plastic. Plastic, a lot of places will not take a Ziploc bag with you handing them something, because now it's building up microbials because it has condensation that automatically, naturally, it could, right. So you use old prescription bottles or something like that, right? Or paper bags. So we have prescription bottles and things like that. So we get out the needle nose pliers. We go into researcher mode. We go into scientist mode, right, so to speak. Not that we're scientists. We're not claiming to be, but we try the best we can to keep things correct, okay?
Right.
So we take it. We push stuff down into the bottle. We reach over, and Wojo grabs a swab and starts swab. The chair, I have a picture of it. It was flawless. There was no rips, and there was no stains on this thing. And now there's a big wad of stain, like spit, all over this chair. Okay, and so he swabs it and he puts that in too. So we have this whole container full of DNA, hopefully, of something. Right. Not only that, we look around for the area. Now, mind you, everybody, we're dealing with compost. We're dealing with leaves and pine needles and years and centuries of packed down leaves and pine needles, sticks, leaves, pine needles. That's all you get. You're not getting dirt in this area. You're not getting sand in this area. You're not getting mud in this area. You cannot pull a print, but you can see areas of compression. So if you look down, we start looking for areas of compression. So sure enough, we find 2 areas of compression. We measured both of these areas of compression. One was at 14, one was at 17. The same subjects that we've been dealing with on my property are exactly the 14 and the 17. And that's how we can identify the subjects that we've been tracking. That's wild. Okay. And that's the best way we can do it. And scientific as we can do it. And we try to be scientific. We're on YouTube Live. You can like, subscribe, and hit the notify button. And you can watch us do this stuff. It's not like we're just coming on here to tell you it. You can actually watch it live while it's happening. So you can see us swab. You can see us, do things scientifically. You can see us measure these imprints and things like that. So are we saying that 100% Bigfoot ate the zingers? No, we're not. We are not. We did not see Bigfoot eat the zingers. We did not. But we have a lot of arrows pointing that way. And when we go into an area, we try to be as scientific and logical as possible. So what I'm saying to you is, all you paranormal investigators out there, if you get a picture of an orb and the orb all of a sudden has an EVP that kind of goes with it in the same timestamp, that's 2 pieces of evidence. That kind of validates what's happening, correct? Right. Well, that's the kind of theory that I go by, because I was a paranormal investigator and I've tried to bring it into the research world of Bigfoot. Right. So all these things start building up the percentages, right? To be real and honest and not just sit here being, full of S and telling lies and trying to get clicks and views. I don't care about that stuff. I'm here to research. And I'm here to have my 50-foot face-to-face. That's what I'm here for. Yeah. That's what I'm here for. And we're in a small hut area that isn't the vast West. It isn't the vast Alaska. It isn't vast Canada. No offense to those vast areas. We are in a very small, so to speak, area. Yes, it's 90 acres, but it's not the 3 things that I just named. And my chances and our chances and my audience and friends that watch us on YouTube's chances of seeing Sasquatch are far greater than anybody in those areas right now. Because of size, pure size. So that's what we found. And I've done gift and stump years ago where I had oatmeal raisin cookies. And a friend of mine advised me to. Those are my favorite cookies, by the way. If you guys, I'll leave my address. You can feel free to bake me in some at any time. Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
They're not Sean Kelly's favorite.
No,
it's not.
no.
Because you guys are gross.
Yeah.
Wojo, I thought Sean Kelly was going to be here.
Sean
tonight.
Kelly was supposed to make an appearance today.
Uh-oh.
No, you do.
No, but where is he? I don't see him on here.
You should go look for him. You're supposed to do it off. You're supposed to do it off camera. So I got my own.
Camera.
Supposed to do it off. Drop his ass off the stage. Oh, sorry. Drop him off the stage. Thank you. Don't let him ruin it. Don't let him ruin it. No.
Behind the curtain. Don't look behind the curtain.
That's such a bad influence, aren't I? Oh boy.
I think that Sean got a haircut.
Oh, Sean got a haircut?
Looks like.
Oh, wow. I'm so glad he's here. You saying that he finally made it? Looks like you made it. So I had oatmeal raisin cookies and I left them on a stump in my yard. Oh, Sean's here. Oh, hi,
hello,
Sean
everybody.
Kelly. Oh, so good to have you, man. How's things going, bud?
Oh, it was a cold day today. I was just in the freezer doing the cutting meat.
Oh, you cutting meat in the freezer again? Did your doctor talk to you about that? It's not good for you. You should come out of the freezer. When
Sean's
you be on
gonna
my
kill
show?
me.
Yeah, Sean's probably going to kill you.
He's rolling right now. Sean, if you're out there, I just want you to know I got 3 words for you, my friend. I love you.
Oh, Santa Claus, you're so sweet. So sweet. Oh boy.
All right.
We're gonna drop Sean out for a minute.
Yeah, get out of here, Sean. You're getting good at that. I like this about you. Yeah, so when we had the gifted stump at my house, go ahead. You want me to go with that, or you want
The oatmeal cookie. Yep. And
Yeah, so the oatmeal raisin cookies, I put them out there. A friend of mine told me, because I said, I think I got like Sasquatch out back. And he's like, you need a gift and stuff. So I got my oatmeal raisin cookies. I put them out there. I yell out to the woods. I know the neighbors are like, oh, God, here he goes. And I'm over here going, all right, listen, these are my favorite cookies. I'm going to leave them right here on this stump, you know? And so 2 days go by, nothing, right? So maybe 3, and now I go out there. Now I'm gonna let Bigfoot have it because those are my favorite cookies, and he didn't come get them. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, hey, these are my favorite cookies. They're sitting right here. But the weird thing was, nothing else touched them. There wasn't a crumb. There wasn't nothing. And what I did was I took 2 little pine sapling branches and I put them on either side of the cookies.
Right.
Right. So that way, if something jumped up on the stump, it would hit the sapling. I could see if I was just such in my infancy at this that I was trying anything to try to be as real as possible. And nobody was going to see it. It was just me taking pictures, documented for my own self, you know.
Right.
So
That's how you learn, though.
It is how I've learned. Yes, you're right. You're right. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you do.
Right? So I would yell out. So I yelled out the 3rd day or so, and then I come back the next day. The cookies are gone. They're gone. So I start looking around everywhere. I'm looking for crumbs. I'm looking for any kind of anything that I can notice. Right? I did notice by the fence. Yo, what's up, D-Hoot?
What I need?
Here for the banterers. Is that even? Yeah, it's a word now because you made it up, D-Hoot. What's up, D-Hoot? D-Hoot's not only just a moderator on my show, like Sam and a couple other people out that have helped us out. They actually come on in all our live investigations and get to watch everything live and happening. So it's really cool. Yeah. So it's good to see them here tonight. So I looked over at the fence, and the fence had a little gap between the ground and the fence. And I look over there, and again, there's the impression that we're talking about, the compression of the leaves, like something that had put its foot underneath the fence. Right. But I'm going, nah, that can't, I'm just going to keep looking for crumbs. I'm trying to be rational because that's what happens when these things happen to you. You search for that rational part of your brain, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're not wanting things to happen, right, you're searching for the rational part, right, instead of just yelling Bigfoot. So I started looking around for everything. I'm looking all around. I had sand that I had put around the stump. I want to see if there's any little rodent prints in that. You know what I mean? Well, I was like, well, no gift. So I'm mad again. I'm yelling out to the woods. Whatever, man. I go inside. Another day goes by. I come back out. No gift. Saplings aren't moved. Second day, no gift. Saplings aren't moved. Well, second day, I let them have it again. I say, listen, those are my favorite cookies. I didn't get, where's my gift, man? You know, I didn't get no gift, you know? And the next day I come out, and there is a perfectly torn piece of lichen, L-I-C-H-E-N, off a tree, I would suppose, and it's placed between the saplings. And I have pictures of it on my YouTube. I don't know if it's any of these evidence that I brought, but it's just sitting there. It's something peeled it and placed it between the two saplings, as if to say, this is an absolute no-doubter, because the wind didn't rip it off a tree and make it land perfectly between these two saplings. And who the hell would even think of doing that?
Right.
Something that lived in nature.
So coming back around, because we started talking about gifting, and originally I'd asked about like consciousness, right, too. So when you were gifting, when we do paranormal investigations, we go into a space and we introduce ourselves and we go, hey, we're just here to, connect with you, hear your story, like you're letting yourselves be known. So if you're gifting, do you do the same thing too? Hey, this is a gift. If you want to trade back. So do you think that you didn't get anything because you didn't understand that's what you wanted until you really let them know? And I'm saying,
well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Well, the gift that the thing is, yeah, I mean, go ahead, Rich.
Potentially, right?
I mean,
no,
go ahead, Rich. That was
So what I think is, for me, they went home. They went home. They had their cookies, right? There was 3. I know there's 3 of them. There was a mother, a father, and a baby, juvenile, that was measured at like 6 1/4 inches at one point. But they went home, and wherever that was, they lived their life and went off. They're like, oh, I got to go, like you or I would do. We have our to-do list, and the to-do list is to bring the idiot yelling into the woods that's a piece of damn lichen to shut his mouth because I'm sick of listening to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what I truly believe. Do I feel, now you're talking connection and stuff in a sense, right? I feel subconsciously connected a lot with the Sasquatches at my house. That's how I feel. I believe it's there.
I personally believe that they would too. Like I've heard stories where the Sasquatch that are on the property are connected with the people that are living on the property. So there's an exchange, and most times it's with somebody who is respectful of the land, respectful of the resources, and their intention really is in a positive way, right? In understanding and
right.
growing that connection, not for ego, not just out of ego.
Well, my apologies. Sorry, go ahead.
I agree. The live investigations, I would definitely watch. I think it's just worked out. A lot of the times when I see that you're going live, I'm working, so I miss it, and I have to go back and watch the videos differently.
Yeah, no, they'll
call in sick.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? People book their sessions almost a year out. There's no way that I can call in sick. Or events, right? Events.
And I had one this morning that was absolutely amazing, and I understand why. That's a beautiful gift you have. It was just, the whole thing for me was touching and powerful and meant so much to me, and I just can't thank you enough. It was amazing.
Well, it was very humbling that you reached out and you asked and you trusted me to hold that space, and I'm always cognizant of that, that it's an emotional thing, and that people trust me to do that. I don't take that lightly.
Well, that was the connection thing that we talk about, like you were just asking, and I feel a draw when I go to certain people about certain things. I feel that draw, and I was like, and you kept popping up, and you were helping me with my show too, and I'm like, that's the person I'm supposed to talk to. That's the person I'm supposed to talk to. It kept coming up in my head. That was my son. That was little Jack's hand going, right there, Dad. Dad, right there. Dad, right there, Dad. Dad,
I believe that. For sure. And Sam, I saw your comment, and it's kind of got lost in there about people coming through in spirit to give messages, and totally they do. The thing about coming through in dream times, people coming that in spirit coming through in dreams, is write it out, and it will be vividly clear. You write out all the details. You write it out again like 3 months later. And if those two pieces of paper are exactly the same, like the details haven't changed, then it's like it's more of a visitation than it is a dream. Because usually you lose the dream, right? And I'm sorry, Wojo. I hijacked you there for a second to
Oh no, it's okay.
Thank goodness.
No, it's just no. What I was saying is, when we go in the college woods, I mean, it's my first time gifting, so I wouldn't know how I would react, other than I'm full of excitement just to see if they were still there or whatever. But it's like I was just about to say, is like building that relationship. They know we're here, and I think it was like our first time gifting in that part of the woods, and so it's just overwhelming. So it was kind of hard for me to answer that. Where Richie, on the other hand, behind his house with the cookies and everything else, they already know who he is and what have you. So now I'm just looking forward to tomorrow, where we gifted 2 different areas, and hopefully really get some crazy evidence and what have you. And all I can say is, well, we got to meet them on Sunday, right, Rich? If you want to talk about that.
Which part?
Well, it starts off like all right. So the energy in the woods, right? We found a footprint. And we were checking out the toes and everything else. But it was like Richie right off the bat going, "Hey, did you hear that?" Because Richie's got like amazing hearing, folks. He really does. He's got great senses, and he's like, "Do you hear those snaps?" I said, "No, I don't hear anything." And so he's like, "Well, it just feels weird and eerie in here today. I don't know why." And so I was just like, I just don't say much because I'm watching him. And if he senses something, then I'm being self-aware of the surroundings now. Because I know he's in that cloud of motion of energy. I'm just like free of looking around to see what's out there watching. And so he walked ahead, and he was on live, and then he just yelled at me and says, "Hey, to the left." And I knew what he meant, but I just didn't know, and I didn't hear anything. And then like 5 seconds later, the whole woods just erupted with big, large snaps, and the footprint, the feet just stomping. It was just exhilarating that when you have high snaps, like something that's a lot of mass. And at the same time, I'm looking at I'm looking at Richie, and I'm looking at what's going on. He's just like, "It's right there. It's right there." And I'm like, "I know." I'm sitting there just amazed. But at the same time that's going on, at my 11 o'clock, at my 1 o'clock, I'm hearing more crashing and more, movement, like strides, because it's that heavy strides, and you can feel the ground shake. So I'm yelling back at him. There's 2 of them.
Yeah.
So the energy was off the charts, and all I can say is I pulled out my zingers. "Hey, we're here. I'm the one that gave you the gift. I'm your friend." I'm like, because my reaction and looking at his face, he's like, "Dude, it was right there. It's right there." I go, "I know, but I get the zingers out." Talk to him, Rich, right? So he's like, he goes, "We're the ones that give."
Always good.
Yeah, but Richie's going, "Yeah, we gave you a gift. Where's that gift? Aren't you gonna give us a gift?" I'm like, kind of like I'm dying inside, but then after, I could still hear movement off to my side, and then I just let out a whistle. "If you're here, please give us a sign." So I went, and then that, like a split second later, whistle back, and I looked at him. I'm like, "They're still here, dude. They're still here."
Right.
And it was such a rush, and this happened twice.
Yeah, this is twice within a month.
And this is the closest. I think I don't know if we saw something. Like you think you saw something, but you're not sure. And I think it was just unbelievable. But go ahead, Rich.
No, for me it was when I noticed there's this arch that's really cool along the trail. And I've been looking at it for a long time, but this time I had noticed that it was pushed down into a tree, meaning the tree split like this and the arch was forced into it. So I was like, oh, look at that. That kind of brings it up a notch now. You know what I mean? So I was taking pictures of that.
Right.
And I could hear, and I got crazy hearing to where my sensitivities actually pick up for my actual physical hearing. I did a DOT physical years ago, and the lady, they hit the button and you raise your hand when you hit a beep and all that. Well, I just kept going, and I saw her face dropping, and she comes over, opens the door. She goes, how are you hearing that? And I go, oh, I don't hear the beep no more. I hear the of the energy moving in and out of the energy field that I'm in. You know what I mean? And she's like, okay, dogs don't do that. And then shut the door on me. So it was true story. So I'm out in the woods now, and I could hear this rustling around, this, you know. What's it say? If you ever go with them, head for the high line and see what you can pick up. Oh, what do you mean? Like go up high, D-Hoot? Ever try use? Yes, trail cams have been used, sir. Yes. I've yielded one result with a trail cam, and I believe it's a result. The experts will tell you that I'm reaching, but I don't believe so. That's what I got to say. I believe I have hair on a trail camera. And when I say hair, illuminated hair from the IR light from it reaching around, setting it off on purpose. And that's what I have. And that's evidence you can see on mine as well. So whatever. But I don't present it as evidence because it's too controversial.
Exactly. So that it's the same in paranormal, right? It's brave to put yourself out there to begin with, right? It's brave to say this is what we're doing. And then when you put your evidence out, everyone's got an opinion. Right? Everyone's going to have an opinion. So you have to be okay with whatever gets said and let that go, in hoping that people are just going to have a respectful conversation. Like you can have a conversation without it being confrontational. It doesn't have to be confrontational to have a conversation. So about
anything in this world.
Exactly.
Absolutely 100%. And that's
exactly. And it's the learning curves too, right? Like, you know, teaching one another that it may not be this, it could be this, because I've had this experience and learning and growing and supporting. So, and
I believe I believe at nighttime they see the infrared. I believe the frequency affects them too, as well with electronics. I believe they're very sensitive in that sense.
I agree.
Is it worth a shot? Sure, absolutely. Anything's worth a shot. Don't leave any stone unturned. You look at structures, look under rocks, look to the left, look to the right, look up in trees, look under trees. I don't care where you look or what you're doing. We are in a non-scientific world. Despite what everybody tells you about the DNA that's been collected, it is listed and labeled as unknown. So there is no science here. You are doing nothing wrong by thinking a tree was made by a primate. You are doing nothing wrong by doing that. Please continue doing it. It's only going to help the field. Do not shut doors, open them. Just be nice and kind to one another while doing it. That's all I'm asking. We are not going to get anywhere arguing. When do we in this world get anywhere arguing? We get nowhere. And I'm not going to say the P word. You know what I'm talking about. Whenever we talk about that stuff, if we just spoke respectfully to each other, we might actually be able to sway people's thoughts and opinions, or at least have intellectual dialogue. But anyways, I digress. So the thing that I found the most about when this particular experience was, I heard something to my left. I hit the button because we have earpieces, and I said, hey, something's to the left. That's when I heard this sound, okay? I continued walking forward, and all of a sudden, like Wojo said, the whole woods came to life for the second time in a month. I was blown away that it was happening again. It was snap, bang. It's just, and I have my 13-year-old son with me, okay? So I'm standing here with him, and we both turn around, and I'm watching the thickets go like just back and forth. Back and forth. And they're just snapping and moving. And I'm looking like this, I'm yelling, it's right there, it's running through the woods. You can hear me on YouTube yelling that. Now, here's the key to things that I didn't ever understand or ever bought into, but these things just happened to me for the first time, so I have to really, really calculate them and understand what the hell happened this day. So I remember it was a gray stick type thicket, Do you understand what I mean? So there's not a lot of branches. There's not a lot of leaves, but there's a lot of branches. And it's doing this. And in between the branches, I saw the darkness of whatever was moving them. Okay? And it was doing that stagger jump, kind of like that. It was very monkey-like, you know what I mean, so to speak, right? And it was loud and big. And then I heard that extra one over here that Wojo was talking about, but I was so focused what was in front of me. To me, it sounded bigger off to the right. We've had that discussion. I think I'm correct by hearing that because it was more in depth. Well, during this time, I'm getting on my screen with they are part of our investigation. They are our extra eyes. They are our extra ears. Sam wears her headphones. Other guys, Big Country wears his headphones. They can hear things that we can't hear. They can see things that we can't see. It's a great way of doing this because I'm bringing them into the world, and they get something back too because they're discovering.
Yeah,
they're discovering with me. And I'll tell you right now, if I get my 50-foot sighting and they're all on my damn phone, we just found that together because I'm no scumbag. Everybody's in on it. I don't care about this. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm going to say, yep, they were there, and they were there, and they were there, and they were there. You're damn right I'm going to, because that's how I live my life. Yeah. So I'm holding my phone out like this, and they're telling me my screen's black. Yep. The heck you talking about? Now, over in this section, the college section, we give secret coded names. The college section of this area that we investigate, the signal is different. It's a little tougher in that area. But it pixelates. It doesn't go black. Your screen's black, they're saying. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's right there. You can't see it. I'm like, what do you mean it's black? What? I'm having a malfunction right now? Like I'm getting, this is the moment, right? Yeah. It did. It went black. I had to bounce out of YouTube, go back on. It kicked back in. And and this is the key, when it kicked back in, and I shared this with you earlier, it was as if someone took a picture of the background of the woods and held it in front of my lens. So wherever I moved, it was the same picture, but it wasn't moving. So wait a minute. So it was like it was frozen on one section now. So I had to get out of YouTube again and come back in, and it finally kicked back in. And then I didn't have a problem again all day.
Crazy.
So my point is, people talk about this energy thing that comes with Sasquatch and Bigfoot. I was never a big believer in and no offense to nobody, I just wasn't there yet. I'm open-minded. I'm not saying, you're wrong for believing that. I would never do that to anybody. I just wasn't there yet. I haven't graduated to that part yet. I believe something zapped me and something affected the electronics that we're holding in my hand. I truly believe that now.
Yeah.
And what do you think that zap is, Rich?
The zap that I get hit with? I think it's a form of infrasound, which is a very common defense system, a defense mechanism or system for animals. Hippos have it. Hippos have infrasound. You can look up infrasound and see the effects of it. I think a lot of my health issues that I had over this time is because I experienced them twice in that short amount of time. And I think I got hit with something this time because he knew that I knew that he was there. I knew he was there. And I went back. You could hear me in the video say it off to the left. And then I went back to I'm taking my pictures, la, la, la. Taking a picture of the woods now, la, la, la. You know what I mean? I got pictures of the woods that I've been enlarged and trying to see if I could see something. You know what I mean? But I couldn't.
But so Kerrilynn, what's amazing is that when I was watching that video of us being on live, before that even happened, because I wasn't beside Rich. Like I said, I'm usually ahead of him while he's talking to everybody. But he did say, he goes, gee, something's going on. He goes, I don't know. I feel something. He goes, something big's going to happen. And he did. He just the timeline of everything, the energy and everything that was going on. And then sure as heck, it happened. And
yeah, that's incredible. And I mean, all of it, we want a personal experience. We want the 2 or 3 pieces of equipment that are getting the same thing to validate the personal experience, but that's what we want, right? We're all looking for that personal experience at the same time, but having the equipment, and then you guys having all of those people involved watching live is
they're commenting,
is incredible as well too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's huge even for your audience to see because they were there and it was so intense. I think it's interesting that the screen went black and your adrenaline was at warp speed. You know what I mean? And that's a part of this theory that I had of bringing everybody out live with me that I didn't even consider, right? You're like, oh, that's a genius move. Well, sorry, I didn't really consider that part of it. That's not on me. You know what I mean? It was just so happens it works out like this that now I have great friends. So I've never met in person, but I feel connected to the soul.
It, right? This is it. I want to come up and I just want to respond because I don't want you to feel like I'm ignoring you. Anybody that's talking about food, I'm not going to ignore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What? Did you say talk about food? Is that what you said?
Food, yeah. Your shadow side paranormal. He asked a couple of questions and I flagged them so that I could get up there. And
I got them in too.
Yeah, I didn't want you to feel like I was ignoring that. So I saw the terrifying. I'd like to connect with you. It could be terrifying to connect with me. Just saying, be prepared. I'd love to connect with you. I need some help and advice for a paranormal client I have. So yeah, you can reach out. I'll put the email up and you can connect that way. And Richie knows how to connect with me as well too. You can do it through social media as well too.
Yep.
And there was another comment you said about showing research. I don't know where that went. About showing research on YouTube.
Who's that? Same guy?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Sorry. I saw it and I did because it's a topic of conversation too, right? Releasing client home investigations on YouTube with client's permission, of course. With client's permission for sure, but I'm still careful about the things I post because you don't know what else is around them, if it's a family structure or any of that. So I have lots of stuff that the majority of my stuff never makes it on social media, to be honest. If they choose to, they can.
Yeah. Yeah, and go get your own show, Rich. Get the hell out of here. Love you.
Yeah. And I think too, like sometimes with the stuff that I have been involved with, there's so much to the story that I just I feel it's better if they want to share than they can.
Yeah, of course. Share anything in the world, man. He's a friend of ours, so.
To be honest, too, and I'm not talking about any particular past client. Not talking about any particular past client, but people can get all wackadoodle, and then it goes sideways where they've changed their mind about something, even if you have it in writing, even if because the writing is important, having a paper signed is important, all that stuff, but I still don't. I don't very much share any of that kind of stuff. Cindy Waghorn did ask about time traveling. I'm just going to take a second to, because we're pausing, I'm going to do station ID. Yeah, we're going to do our station ID. So,
that's right, Jim.
I don't have the.
You got to do this. Come on.
Back to you, Kerrilynn.
I don't have it. I don't have it. Maybe in the morning when I've got that gravelly, before coffee voice, that would be
right.
That would be better.
That would be amazing from the porch with the coffee. Yeah,
I love a good cup of Java.
Yes. Thank you, Wojo.
In the large size.
Oh my God! Look at that.
Oh my God. Looks like a boss.
Yeah. If you are just joining us now, thank you so much for being here. You are listening to Spirit Switchboard. I'm your host, Kerrilynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM out of New Orleans. So thanks for being here. And we have Richie B and Wojo from Bigfoot Banter with Richie B. Thanks for being here, guys.
Hello, and thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you, everybody. We love you.
Thank you especially for having Wojo. That guy's a kid.
Yes, he is. I know.
I'm sorry. I've been zapped today, so I'm trying to recover for that message that I got from
the mystery person. Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. It really screwed me up. But I'm trying to be.
Yeah, I really so just ignore all that stuff. If anybody is following me on social media, it's bad on on Facebook in particular. So I might land in a Facebook jail saying that out loud, but it's the people that create those cloned account or imposter accounts it's pretty crazy. And I probably get about 10 a day, honestly. It's and then all the other bot people that try to just don't engage, don't make eye contact. Because don't engage. You just delete. Don't respond. You just delete a block.
Stop looking at me.
Yes. Heidi knows. Heidi's had to deal with them since she started following me on social media too. She's seen it all. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I did the same
Heidi's
thing.
been a good guest with us too.
Yeah, she's been great to have. I love seeing new faces.
So Vicky had a question on dimensional, if they portal or something to that effect.
Yes, and it was time travel is what she actually said.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are your thoughts? Dimensional portals. One of the things I did write down while you were talking was ley lines and tunnels. Like, do you know what your property has? Is there ley lines? Are there tunnels nearby? Experiences with portals?
Ley lines.
What do you think?
All right. So we conducted a collaboration with Exploring with Phil with 2 L's. I mentioned his name earlier. Like and subscribe to his channel. Really cool guy. But he does a lot of spirituality, spirits and paranormal and Pukwudgies and other things besides Bigfoot. So we conducted a dual investigation at my house, and the EVPs and the spirit box and all that stuff went absolutely nuts. The dead bell, what was the other thing? Oh my God, no, never mind, I'll move on. Anyways, all his equipment was going crazy, and he was like,
"You guys, did you? Yeah, you did 2 days of showing that, didn't you? Have 2 segments showing.
I think there was
evidence?
2 days.
There was 2 days of that.
Yeah, we did one with Rich from Shadowside. Yeah, we did one with Shadowside out in the Bridgewater Triangle, and then Phil and I did one where Rich from Shadowside was late, and then we did. I'm sorry. Every time if I got something in my throat, I just randomly yell words. I can't help it. You know what I mean? So that investigation was on my property. So yes, we know that there's different energies that are there as well. Ley lines, I haven't done a lot of investigation on. Tunnels, we haven't really found a lot of tunnels in that particular area. You know what I mean? Right. So nothing like that. The ley lines is an interesting question, something that I'll further definitely look into because they were attracted to it. Yeah, the Bridgewater Triangle is very mysterious, by the way. That's where my house is, by the way, if I may say real quick, Kerrilynn.
Okay.
The location that we're investigating, really is in what's called the Bridgewater Triangle in southeastern Massachusetts. If you do not know what that is, you can look up a documentary on YouTube or you can read a book or whatever it is. It's called the Bridgewater Triangle. Look that up, and then you'll understand more about the area that we're in. It has all kinds of mystery from Pukwudgies to Sasquatch to ghosts to cult activity. The place is nuts. And it just goes on and on and on. You have the redheaded hitchhiker on Route 44. You have your beautiful young lady at the Skim Milk Bridge. I did an investigation there as well. There's the ledge where people feel like they need to jump. You know what I mean? So the place is absolutely crazy. Ley lines, tunnels, it has it all. You name it. And a lot of it derives from the King Philip's War. So if you want to find interesting pieces of American history, where a lot of this stuff started was from the King Philip's War. So help yourselves with that research and enjoy that. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Crystals, like, are there an abundance of crystals? Or because I've connected with someone else who has a lot of crystals on their property, and the crystals tend to be gifted to them from the Sasquatch that are on that property. And there's some kind of draw to those crystals. Now, so
any particular crystal?
I don't know
That's
if it's just
because I wonder if they would be attracted to one more so than other, right? Because we know crystals have all kinds of different effects and
exactly.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know if they're having success with a certain type of crystal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On this particular property,
too, Heidi. Like quartz. Colorado has an abundance of quartz. That would be my first thought too.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Again, I'm dealing with areas that, like I said, are very, very heavy on the compost, very heavy on, like I said, the leaves, the pine needles, you know what I mean? And it's really hard to even see a rock sometimes, you know what I mean? Yeah. It really is. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, do you guys get prints? You know what I mean? And I'm like, we try, you know what I mean? There are certain
compressions,
areas.
To get a compression with all of that, you know that it's heavy. It's got to be heavy.
Very, very heavy.
Very,
very heavy. And it's consistent. That's the key. It's not that we don't get prints. You can see this print here that my first one, I messed it all up, but that's a print that we got right here in the same location that we're talking about. Look how deep it is. And this was in a mud section. That was in a dirt section. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, he's got a video of 2 hours and 24 minutes with Banter and Exploring with Phil with 2 L's and EVPs, and the video is insane. Yes. It's on
your YouTube? Like it's on
Shadow Side Paranormal Research. Yep, check out his YouTube. That video is on there.
People. Like and subscribe.
Yep, like and subscribe. Yep, jump in and have some fun. There is uranium and quartz up here. That's interesting. Uranium's interesting thought there. They all conduct energies. It's just different levels and different types, right? Right? Think about it, right? And we're just, I'm not saying it's not there. I'm saying we just can't see it because of the coverage of the history of the compost buildup and stuff like that.
We get a lot of forestry in our area. It's
just a ton of it. Yeah, you don't walk up on a ledge. You know what I mean? You really don't. Not in this particular area. Even with the river there, even when the river's low, you can barely hardly see any stone, which is weird because two towns over is just nothing but shale stone. Abington's huge on that. Tons of it.
So I find anywhere like. Even if I'm I do these events called Dining with the Dead or Spirits and Sweets, right? And if I'm working at a location that's along the water or even a railroad track, that it flows so differently than somewhere else. Like I think having moving water also contributes to the energy of a place.
Well, 100%.
Well, we got moving water and power lines too. So there's a lot of energy sources around. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, we have to understand, and a lot of people talk about dimensional, interdimensional, and it's a part of this discussion that I'm not quite there yet. I'm very open to it and understanding, and I've had events happen that actually lean towards that way. And it's still so hard to grasp your rational brain around, right? The rational part of your brain around. But so the power lines aren't just an energy source, they're a highway for walking. And,
exactly.
And the water's not just an energy source; it's a waterway for movement.
Yeah.
Right.
Who's to say they can't just get in there and just slide right down the current, and they're 3 blocks down the road, and they're hiding up behind a tree, drying off, and that's where you get that musty dog smell people talk about. You know what I mean? I'll be bringing. Oh, all right. He did it. You see it right there? You see what big he did?
Yeah.
Look at. He did.
So
he did it.
What would the Geiger counter do? Like for what?
All right.
Are we having this conversation?
Yeah, we can.
Do I step into it or do I roll it back out?
No, I tell you what. Hang on. I have. Do I step in and roll it back out? Just hang up on them. No, just kidding. Hang on. I want to see what's here. The best way to explain this, what we got. The only evidence I got in here right now. I don't have the college area. Bring up this picture right there. Can you see the one with all the sticks at the? Yeah. Okay. So the best way to kind of get into this type of discussion is one thing. Our friend Henry's a big follower. He's a very astute gentleman himself and has had a lot of experience with Sasquatch and other creatures like that. So one thing he brought up by somebody he heard from was he feels that this gentleman was getting high radiation readings off of areas like this or areas that Sasquatch was near. So Andy, who's a member of Boots on the Ground Bigfoot Investigations, along with Tim and Eric Vogel, Mike Trainer, Lisa Garcia, Steve Bonham, Rich from Shadow Side. Who am I missing? Wojo, me, Mike. I said Mike Trainer, right? Yeah. So that's our crew. So Andy said, I'm going to go get a Geiger counter because you see this area here. The college is similar to the wood that you see randomly stacked on this tree, okay? I don't believe this is magic whirlwind. That's just me. But besides the actual shape of it, look at the condition of the wood. So when we walk into these woods and we see this open area where the sun just happens to be beating down this green plush area where you can get nothing but shade, you walk up on an area, which we call the actual college, is say 200 foot by 200 foot, just say it's around there. And everything in the middle of that 200 foot by 200 foot circle is basically dead and debarked. And it's either bent or shaped like an X, or it's up a tree, or it has some weird kind of manipulation to it. But it's dead and debarked. So we get a Geiger counter because we want to go around checking the radiation of these places. We want to see if there's any radiation on this very sticks that you're looking at in this picture.
Right.
Is that why they're dead and debarked? Whoa, what happened?
Well, it's also too, Rich. It's the trees, but you look at the ground. You just see how it's like dark brown everywhere. Yeah, you might have some.
Can you hear me?
Look.
Yeah. You're frozen though. We can hear you.
Yeah, throw me out and bring me back up. Here. I have no issues here.
Now you're not coming back up.
That's it.
So while they're working on that, but you got the ground, like how it's all like dark brown and what have you. You have like very minimal growth going on in there, and it just seems like whenever they're doing all these structures and what have you, it's like a dead area. You see how, like, you look at the sticks, but
they're asking, does the brown area
stink?
stink?
No, D-Hoot, it doesn't stink, but I find it very interesting. Our friend Alex Petticoff did a small town monster segment out in Mount St. Helens, and this gentleman was explaining how the Bigfoot was standing. He was just saying, like, oh, they used to stand right here, and this brush and whatever. It's like 8 feet higher brush, but you could see them, but it was so thick and green. But then, like, as they're showing him, he goes, yeah, but it's not so green anymore. It's like dead, and you see like branches like that in the background, and it's just amazing that they, you kind of wonder, are they giving off some sort of radiation, or what have you. So that's why our friend Henry brought up about the Geiger counter. So we're going to give it listen, anything, we're open to anything.
Well, this is it, right? And whenever you hit a new experience or have a new idea, it's worth trying. Like, it's
right.
all worth trying, all of it.
So James, I bought a trail cam, one of those cellular trail cams
Right.
that you have on your phone, what have you, and take these amazing pictures. And if you have high pixels, it takes quicker pictures. And so I bought one just to see if it works, because you know what, it doesn't hurt till you try. Oh no, here he is. He's back.
Stupid.
I just wonder if you were just showing the picture, Rich, kind of like made you freeze. I don't know.
No, it was weird because I'm perfectly fine. I think I'll deal with it another day. Internet's fine. Everything's fine here. I don't know what that was. So we're just going to move on and act like it didn't happen.
Bigfoot is behind you,
Yes, I know. It's going to eat my head. There we go. So I brought...
Heidi is asking, I missed the first part, Heidi, so I'm sorry about that. Reason why I asked about Rocky Mountains: once while hiking, I found the oddest tree branch structure thing, and the energy or vibe emitting was intense.
Okay. No, I think that's a great observation on your behalf, because I get a lot of these areas too. As a matter of fact, if you could look down and see Banter of Richie B, the evidence one, that's called the Dream Catcher. This particular structure here is on my property, and we call it the Dream Catcher for obvious reasons, right? So this one here let off, I felt a ton of energy there. It was pretty nuts. And when I returned there, it was like just like a sacred spot. So the arch is made up of about a 40-foot oak realm. I'm not a tree expert, but it's bent all the way down and it's pushed underneath other logs. And it's held in place. And it's about 12 feet off the ground, approximate. And all these other trees, as you can see, that go through it are seemingly placed strategically in order to look like like I call it a dream catcher.
Right.
So let me skip through some things because they're out of order a little bit. I apologize. So let me go over here. Hey, Sean Kelly's here.
Hello, Sean Kelly.
Wait a minute, you were on earlier, sir.
You were on earlier. You missed the presence
Imposter.
of your doppelganger.
Yeah, imposter. That's not the real Sean Kelly. Yeah, it was all Wojo's idea. Just so you know.
He was
That's
warned.
right. He
Sean
was
was
warned.
warned.
Yeah, Sean was warned. Right. So here we go. So this is the dream catcher on the right on my property in 2021. Upon doing research, I found a book by a gentleman named Christopher Noel, who's from Vermont, and he has a book that says A Field Guide to Sasquatch Structures, and that's the cover of his book. That was 2016. The book came out.
So, okay, in that book, does the book just show the images of specific structures that have been found in all kinds of different places consistently, but no real idea or concept of what that structure may be indicating?
No, and I don't think anybody would know that unless we get to one day sit down and do a Jane Goodall and observe Bigfoot in his natural habitat, right?
I think we should all just be focusing on meditating and collecting. See if we can tap in that way through collective consciousness. I
have never been to the Rockies in Colorado. No, I would love to be. No, that's okay. No, I just saw it pop up, and you know how the ADD thing works. So this is like the asterisk right here. The left is my property. The right is the book.
Crazy.
Yeah, so this is when you start getting into this, you start researching and you just go down this rabbit hole, right? And you just keep going down that rabbit hole. And then also the rabbit hole has a rabbit hole to the left of the rabbit hole.
Okay, so this is it. Even in the paranormal world, in all of it, is one big, you end up getting more questions than you do answers.
Correct. Now, I'm going to jump around a little bit again, if I may. You okay with the evidence part of this show?
Yep.
Okay.
You roll.
I didn't want to. They're out of order a little bit, so I got to try to find out where. I don't know where that one was. Okay, I don't know where that is. So there's one particular one. Oh, there it is. So look at on the right. You see me on the right with the white T-shirt, and I got my hands in the air. That one above me is what we call a suspended tree. It's a very big tree. The other end is the middle picture where it's kind of woven through like the letter Y, and something from 12 feet up took a 300 or 400 pound tree and slid it through, right? And New England Patriots there, buddy. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's what happens when you put your bums in. It's preseason, son. Simmer down. But if you look behind me, the dream catcher's behind me. You see it?
Yeah.
You see the dream catcher's behind me on this one. It's fully intact. It's a nice full arch. This picture's taken in 2021. I've always had a theory that they come in and they take these things down after a while. I just keep finding, I could have sworn it was there. Where'd it go? I could have sworn it was there. Where'd it go? So years later, with Wojo at the camera, takes a picture. There's me on the left. You see me on the left? Got my hand up. Suspended trees, a little bit older, a little bit leaning. Look behind me. You see that letter A?
Yep.
That's the dream catcher.
Snapped.
It's snapped in the middle.
Interesting.
And destroyed.
So you said, though, that you feel there's a juvenile on the property, too. Could not part of this be, educational for the juvenile as well, too?
So that's my theory. So we can go back to the Native Americans, and we can discuss the Native Americans. And the Native Americans and Sasquatch went hand in hand. They're the ones who originally gave him his name. And matter of fact, if you go to the caves and see all the different pictures, there's always a Sasquatch in one of them. They're always talking about it, whether it's New England, whether it's out west, whether it's up north. It's just the way it's been. Canada's loaded with them. So I'm talking about the glyphs, I guess. So they kind of went hand in hand. So when Native Americans, when they would get a small tree and they would snap the bottom of it just enough, but not killing it, and they would start to reshape that tree to point off, say, to this watering hole or a really good gaming area, or perhaps a shelter if you're out hunting. You know where the shelter is. So a lot of these trees would be twisted and bent for purposes like that. And again, people, I apologize, it's out of order. So here you see this 180 twist, right? These are 180 twists. The one on the left is much, much older. It's got peat moss all over it. The one on the right is much newer. So one could say the one on the left, perhaps maybe the Native Americans used that for guidance, right? Mm-hmm. So what's to say that something so close to the Native Americans didn't use this same type of structure theory for guidance, for the other clans, for the other tribes, right? So you start to totally, if you look, one of the theories I came up with, a lot of the trees, you'll see like a knot at the bottom of a tree, and then 3 feet up, you'll see another knot. And then 3 feet up, you see another knot. And it's almost like them just snapping it a little bit. And it stays fresh, it stays alive, and continuously grows in the direction that they've now trained it, right? I mean, we train our trees to do what we want. Why can't they, right?
Yeah.
So here's another thing. Heidi, what did you say? I took a picture of the structure, but
oh yeah, I had it up earlier. Heidi was sharing about the structure that she came upon. She didn't get too close. She took pictures, but out of peaceful respect, she kind of stayed back a bit.
Yeah, and you're right, Heidi, in that sense by feeling that, and you'll get a lot more results. I feel with that type of mindset. Right.
I like to see her pictures. That'd be kind of cool.
I would love to see Heidi's pictures. Matter of fact, Heidi, if you're tomorrow night at 6 p.m., if you're hanging around, you can click a link and jump right on screen with us, and we can share your pictures. So, because we got it like that, Hides. Yo, what's up, Hides? Come on, Wojo.
Richie B at banterwithrichieb.com.
I'm in the middle of a dance. If you could wait a second. Yeah, I'm right in the middle of something, and you're yelling stuff out. I was dancing. I don't know if you watched that. Did you watch it? Jesus Christ, man! People pay good money for this stuff. I'm doing it for free.
It kept glitching, so it was not a smooth dance. It wasn't graceful like I've seen.
I don't have a glitch. I think it's Canadian internet.
No.
I think that's what's happening. I think we're dealing with Canadian internet. That's what's happening.
No.
Let's be honest.
I don't think
so. She's like, no, Richard, no, Richard. So here is a location here. Wojo, would you like to explain the huts to people?
Sure. This is like actually my first investigation.
Do you want me to introduce you?
Go ahead.
Hi, Anita. Thanks for being here. Hi, Sherry.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. Wojo is about to explain the huts that were found out in north central Massachusetts. Go ahead, Wojo. Back to you, Bob. There you go.
Well, thank you there, Bob or Susan or whoever. But anyways, so this is like my first investigation with Richie, and we went out to Central Mass, and we've been like looking at different tree structures, what have you. So we were on this path, and Richie was talking, and we were just kind of like chilling out, having some water, and then I happened to look to my left, and I just see like these trees kind of limped over, and I just found it odd, being out in the woods most of my life, and I was like, I never seen something like this before. And then as Richie's talking, he stops, he goes, "Hey, what's that?" I go, "Ha, that's what I'm saying. What is that?" So we ran out there, and then we found these huts where these trees are bent and intertwining like this in the backside, and the left to the right, and right there's the center. There's 4 of them all together, and so it's Mother Nature. When they're intertwined and everything, it's like it's still green. That's the amazing part. It's not dead wood; it's still green.
That's right.
And so Richie went underneath one of them, and it was actually pretty big. And he had what you call a scaniverse. I think you to spell it out, Rich.
Scaniverse.
Scaniverse.
You want me to spell it? SCANIVERSE. Scaniverse, all one word. Back to you.
Well, what the Scaniverse does a 3D of the depth of everything, and so
it's awesome.
We found like 4 of these huts, and so I sent these pictures to my friend down in Georgia, and he works for the University of Georgia. Yeah, that's a much.
Is that the same? The same hut, just a different. Okay.
3D. That's 3D.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
go ahead. I'm sorry. Very important.
No, go ahead, Rich. Finish up. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say how this was very important that we use experts. We don't just determine things on our own. We have a tree expert. We have like the Vogels out in Western Mass that are outdoor wilderness men. You know what I mean? Like people that do things. Mike's a biologist. We have people that we go to. We don't just self-determine these things, right? So is what you're about to say.
There's not a doctor. It's not like Dr. Google. It's not Dr. Sasquatch somewhere where you
Exactly. I mean,
look it up.
my friend works for the University of Georgia. He works in the forestry department, and he down at the south, like Arkansas, Alabama, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. What he does, he checks out for invasive bugs coming from Asia that are destroying woodlands and so on and so forth. So a lot of these tree structures that we showed you in these pictures, but the huts was the first one that I sent to him, and he couldn't explain it. He goes, well, do you think it's possibly that, maybe snow on top where it freezes up the water, and then when the sun hits it, it melts away and keeps it limp? I go, what, that much woods where it's coming left to right and from the back? Looks like an igloo? He goes, yeah, you got a point. He goes, and because he keeps looking at it, he goes, I've never seen anything. I've been on the woods for 25 years, never seen anything like this before. And all the pictures that we keep sending him, he's just floored. He goes, I don't know what's going up in Massachusetts, but you guys got something going on.
Yeah, so that's why, and he helps. He helps to push the structure theory.
Exactly.
He helps that. That's huge to have a guy like him. And I haven't even met the guy yet. And he was
trying
music to my ears. Well, because I'm the crazy guy in the field. Everybody's like, oh, there's the structure guy. Oh, here he comes. I don't care. And like you had said earlier, like worried about the ridicule and stuff like that. When I lost my son, Jack, this is when I started all this stuff, right? My baby boy was born an angel. And I was like, it's kind of like he told me, follow your passions, Dad. There's nothing nobody could say to me that's going to hurt me like that hurt me. So it does not matter if you think I'm this or you think I'm that. That's not what this is about. I do not care about that. These are theories. These are thoughts. No one's saying that we've seen Bigfoot make these structures. We're not those guys. We're not doing that.
Exactly.
Right? But I am going to stick with this theory, and I'm going to drive it home. And if I have to prove it to you, you should have to unprove it to me. Explain to me why it's not Bigfoot. Explain to me why it's the magic whirlwind.
How about this, Rich? Have we mentioned Bigfoot once? Really? Like
no. Just having a sense of wonder. Like just having a sense of wonder. Like I wonder. Right. And just exploring all the different possible ways that could happen. Having a sense of wonder.
Is that a song?
Sean saying a hobbit structure.
So Kerrilynn, like right around the about maybe like 30 yards away, I found a deer shed that was nearby.
Right by his house.
And there's also a water source behind us at the which is about, I don't know, probably about 40 yards. So there's plenty of food out there. There is like I said, plenty of shelter here. And we found I went the following week and I found 2 more structures right nearby. I don't know how we missed those.
So do you feel would they migrate? Like would they, when the seasons change, would where they are on the property primarily change, do you think? Or are they in one spot? Like,
well, I think they move around personally, but
I think they're kind of like
off
shocks.
The property and back?
Yeah, well, so all right. So here's the deal. This. I feel the nomadic, for one, we don't have enough land for them to be migrational, right? So you would have to go with nomadic, right? So they're nomadic. So they go from a couple miles this way, eat, couple miles this way, eat, whatever. So that's how I feel. I think they're more like shocks, where they have to keep moving, right? We have, like I said, narrowed them down to a certain area. You know what I mean? So that has helped us a lot. I think combined with everything that's going on, they have certain areas where they stay in a pitch, so to speak. They have certain areas where they stay because the hunting is better, so to speak. Now you look at something like this, you say, well, it's 9 feet long, it's 6 feet deep. There's a hump in the ground, like something's been laying in it. I know because I laid in it. But you say, oh, that's good for shelter. But the juvenile or the baby or whatever, or even dad could sleep in it. Anybody could sleep in it. But you could also lay there next to a game trail of one of these, and when a deer comes by, you just snap its leg with your forearm because you're an 800-pound, creature, right? And you snap its legs, and then you leave one of these behind, the shattered leg right here, shattered leg. There's not a lot of beer here. There's nothing around. Even beer is not just going to shatter legs. This thing is shattered, and it's empty of its bone marrow. There's no bone marrow in
That's
here.
the thing I've read consistently too, is like the no bone marrow.
Yeah, 2 of them. Here's another one. Another one in a suspected area where there was a hut. This leg is shattered. Something snapped this baby deer, fawn, whatever you want to call doe, snapped its leg and emptied the bone marrow. Again, no bone marrow.
20 feet away from the entrance. It's amazing.
Yep. Yeah, so when you start, again, you get back to that paranormal investigating, you find here's a print. You know, here's what we call a hut, right? Here's a mushroom up on a branch now. Here's a broken, shattered bone out front. This is all in one area. They're running through the woods. We're having experiences of them running through the woods. You know, guess what? The percentages are climbing. You know, when we first went in there, we start with 0 because we're fair and honest, and we're not trying to fool anybody, and we work our way up. And at this particular spot, I'm damn near 98%. They're right there. And we are going to try a trail camera in this particular area. Again, I want to be thoughtful of them. You know what I mean? I don't like bringing a bunch of stuff in and trying to, coax them out. I do go live on YouTube. I understand that. But I think it's with good people. And I think the vibes are right. And I think the energy's right. So I don't feel that I'm disrespecting them in that way. It feels like I'm out there with my friends in the woods as opposed to just trying to snapshot pictures of them, or set up a booby trap and a light comes on and the helicopter flies overhead like you see in the movies, Hong Kong, King Kong, all that stuff, Go ahead. Hello?
So, yes.
Oh, I thought she was going to say something.
Can you smell that thinking?
I
just was trying to make sure I was formulating my question right. So my dad lives with my stepmom on one of the reservations in Northern Ontario, outside of Sault Ste. Marie. There's three of them, all sort of like back to back. And friends on a different reservation took me to see some unique places on the reservation to see what I would pick up and to tap into those things. And everywhere we went when we were there, we made sure that we gave an offering as soon as we went there, so they knew that what our intentions were. So I know that you're saying your intentions are good and you're doing all those things, which is great, but that exchange in knowing, do they rush you or they're pushing you out because they don't want you in that space getting zapped or whatever that was? Do you think shifting and saying, here's your gift today, we're coming out in exchange for me videoing and walking around, I'm leaving you this gift today kind of thing?
Well,
we evolved there, right, Wojo? Wouldn't you feel we evolved to that spot?
Yeah, I mean pretty much. I mean don't forget too, Rich, is that when
I'm not saying that you don't. I'm just saying, like, I wonder what those results, because you're saying like you're getting more results because you're there more, right? Yeah. It's kind of like you're when you go to visit family, if you're bringing a gift because you know that you're bringing over dessert, like you're bringing something and you're having that exchange.
So Kerrilynn, like, all right, so you gave them the zingers and what have you, and then I replaced the zingers and put one in the hut, right outside the hut. But the fascinating part is that 2 incidents that happened when we're walking out in the woods. Richie will thank you, forest people, and all that stuff.
That's what I wanted to hear.
And
that
to me, it sounds strange, but then again, it's not, because you know what? It's like, hey, thank you, repeats, all that. But one time we heard whoops, and on our way out, we heard a whistle, a sharp whistle. We just stopped, looked at each other like, are you kidding me? So it's like saying they're leaving, some form of communication. Yeah. Now, on our last investigation, as we were walking out, now we're right by the chair area where the woods is kind of like more open, and we're out of the thick stuff. There were knocks. I think like 4 knocks in 2 different areas. They were communicating. They followed us out. Yeah, and I thought that was very important, because I think that they're drawn to us, I'm going to say in a friendly way, because they could have just
Yeah, exactly, in the friendly way. But when they were doing that stomping, could it be just like us? Like, I'm just not in the mood to hang out with anybody. It's too people-y. It is too people-y today.
Or they don't want to be like, found, or I mean, like, scare
Or
them.
the
I don't know.
entertainment. Like, they just don't want to be somebody's entertainment that day.
Yeah, I think it's just like you said, just like us. Like you go over and someone unexpectedly shows up at your house, and you're just like, oh,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And you don't care. Could be anybody, but you just want to walk around in your underwear and spill coffee on your face, whatever. That's your thing, and not to be judged, right? So I think it does have a lot to do with that, yes. And I've been walked out a few times. So and a lot of people will talk about this. Hi, Courtney. A lot of people talk about this and about being walked out. I was walked out to the point, and I was with the vice president at the time, I believe he was, the BFRO New England region, and the co-founder of Squatchachusetts, and a local folklorist and historian and author. And we did an investigation in my backyard, and I kept hearing them off in the distance. And we got to the edge of my game trail. I took my backpack off. I put everything back away. I had my phone in my pocket on my hoodie, and that was it. And we were talking about it, and I had just met, this was Dave McCullough. I just met him, and we were talking. I was like, so what do you think? He goes, wow, you got a lot of activity here, definitely. He was feeling that vibe. And all of a sudden he goes, what's that? What kind of duck is that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And you can hear something off in the distance. I said, yeah, I've owned this property since 2002. There ain't no ducks here, bro. And all of a sudden you heard, and this, if you look up the Sierra Sounds, in the Sierra Sounds, you will hear there's a section of that called samurai chatter. And we heard samurai chatter from 60 feet away. And the one on the right, about 60 feet, could be more. One on the right, not much more. The one on the right started it up with Oba, and I was like, whoa. And I said to Dave, I go, is that the Sierra Sounds, man? And then all of a sudden, when he finished, there was a bigger one off to the left. And he was deeper and bigger. And he goes, and he was louder and stronger and more abrupt. And as soon as he was done, the one on the right picked back up again and said another whole sentence. And when he was done, ended with what I believe is a chest pump, just because I don't believe there was a perfect tree and a perfect stick right there at the moment. And they were very serious about walking us out, and they were now discussing the fact that they did. And I heard them talking along with Dave McCullough and along with this other author and folklorist and historian. And the second one goes, like really adamant. And at the end of it, he goes, like a big pop, like that. And as soon as that pop went off, the second one picked up, and he was really big, I'm telling you. And he goes, oh my God, and he went off for like 10, 12 seconds, say, right? And then when he got done, he let out a bigger pop because his lungs were probably bigger, right? And that was it. And I stood there, and at the time, I had my bag on the ground. I had my phone in my pocket. I started reaching for my cell phone, and the first thought was, man, they can see me. I was in my infancy, so the high of the respect wasn't, I got to be careful. I don't want to disrespect them. It wasn't that. It was me reaching for my phone going, they're going to come out of those woods and kill me. Like in a second. And they see me, what do they see? What am I reaching for? Right? And I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, well, the experience could stop too. So how about we just take this in? So we took it in. Yeah, we took it in. It was amazing. I'm whispering to Dave going, this is the samurai sounds, bro. That's that samurai chatter that they talk about. And he was blown away. And that's when we got out to the property. He goes, I think it's time for us to go. Like me, and they wanted us to leave. And so we walk out, and I turn around and I go, thank you guys so much for that. I can't thank you enough. I appreciate you guys. And he goes, I think they're here because of you, Rich. He goes, you just have a natural respect for them, that they understand it. But we heard samurai chatter, and a lot of people that have seen Bigfoot say that's way more unique than having a sighting.
Absolutely.
And I didn't realize how unique and powerful and special that was until I started really researching. So it was pretty awesome, man. I was pretty psyched. So that's my QR code, I think they call that.
Yeah. I have to be mindful over time when we're winding down. So the QR code will take you to all your social media platforms, get you in contact everywhere. YouTube.
Yes.
X,
yes. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all banter with Richie B. There might be X in there too. I haven't looked.
Yeah, the X is there too. I had checked.
Oh,
so
okay.
tomorrow night, 6 p.m.
That's right, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S. Standard Time. We have we have a lot of worldwide people, so we have to say U.S. Standard Time now.
Oh.
30% of my audience on Spotify is from Japan, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Eh? The international stuff is crazy. It's humbling for sure. Thank you, Courtney, for putting up the YouTube link.
Oh, she the best, man. Courtney's the
She
best.
is
She's from
awesome.
she's from the Get Haunted Network, and Get Haunted. We're on that platform.
E3 Network.
Courtney's amazing, man. She's amazing.
Well,
thank you, Courtney.
Thank you, everybody that's in the chat. Thank you, everybody that showed up and participated in the conversation, brought your questions and comments. Shadowside, yes, we'll connect. Make sure that you reach out. I'll answer those questions that you've got for me. Wojo and Richie, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having us, and thank your audience. Thank you.
We will have to do it again for sure, because there's just so much. And we're always learning, right? There's always something. I'm
still here. You can't see me, but you can hear me. Thank you for having me. Sorry for all that weirdness going on.
It is all good. It is all good. So
keep climbing.
Thank you so much to the UPRN network, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM out of New Orleans. Please stay tuned for Jeffrey Pritchard. He is next up with the Church of Mavis. And next week I have Eric Mintel from Eric Mintel Investigates, and he'll be coming on talking about paranormal pickers and his new book that's out, and sharing some of his paranormal experiences with us. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Have a good night, and I'll see you all next week.
Boom.
Good night.
Good night.